Photorealism. So, what is photorealism? Photorealism is a style of art used or started in the late 60s and flourished in the early 70s. Photorealism was a movement considered as an American art movement that mainly focused on visual art such as paintings, sculptures, media, and graphic designs. The importance behind photorealism and why it started in the first place was to make the visual arts more realistic to viewers. Photorealism works around realism by combining what is real to what's unreal. Realism is another American art movement. What makes photorealism different from any other movement is how photorealists put together the artwork and how much they can make the art look real. They use cameras, images, and films to create these paintings, sculptures, and drawings. Photorealism had a response to the pop art movement as well. Photorealism and pop art both use photographic media. Photorealism was said to be lasted until the 1770s, but it still has its impact on the world today. Although pop art and photorealism has many things in common, photorealism is closer to minimalism movement. So here's the content behind photorealism. The United States influenced the art that was created during the photorealism movement. The United States, though, was not the only country that it was famous or well known in. For example, Europe and New York was known as some places where photorealism took place at. So let's look at New York. There was a museum called Whitney Museum located in New York that an American author and art dealer, Louis Measle, who coined the term photorealism and used this term to label artwork in the exhibition at this museum. There were plenty of photorealism artists such as Chuck Close, Charles Bell, Tom Blackwell, and many more that influenced or helped define the meaning behind it. As you can see, the top man, his name was Richard Estes, and he obviously took part in the photorealism movement. He was born in the 30s in Illinois. He was an American painter that had a huge passion for what he did. He made sure all of his artwork was sharp, focused, finished, and very detailed. He was known for more urban scenes of realistic paintings, and urban scenes is like roofs, buildings, town, city, landscapes, stuff like that. Richard graduated College of Art in the late 50s and moved to New York, where he then found his dream of being a photorealist. His artwork soon became visual in all different museums around the world. So on the bottom right, it's a man named Chuck Close. He was also a photorealist. Um, Chuck was mostly known as portraits. He started making abstract portraits of himself and then decided to make portraits of others around him. He was an American painter, visual artist, and photographer. Chuck was born in the 40s in Monroe, Washington. He started his art early. When Chuck was 14, he took art lessons and went to art exhibitions. And since he went to those art exhibitions, that's when he realized that he wanted to pursue his career and making portraits and paintings and all that other stuff. He went to school for art and architecture. The very first exhibition he created on his own was in black and white. He created these by using photographs, which was then put in the museum in New York as well. So here's some of the artwork that Chuck Close created or painted or whatever. The first image he actually didn't paint or took a picture of. It was just kind of what he did, kind of since he take pictures of different artwork. I just found like a artwork that's like similar to that or whatever, and it was called the Wheel of Fortune. The second the second photo is the the actual picture that he painted, the self portrait of himself. The the third picture is a visual portrait drawing, and this is hung up in an art museum. And the last picture is an artwork he created in fifth grade, like when he first started taking art lessons or whatever. Richard mainly focused on he mainly focused on paintings, like the urban scenes. So the first image is an example of his urban scenes at the point. Well, all of these are examples of urban scenes or whatever. Photorealism really just focused on the realistic of the artwork. It uses real photographs to create these sculptures, paintings, drawings, sceneries, whatever. It represents what is being seen on camera or by cameras. Photorealism does have a lot of facts about it. Some of them is that the photorealism paintings, drawings or whatever artwork, was all created from pencil, inks, and paint to make the images look more real. Photorealism was all across the world, and then artists made photorealism artwork too. So they didn't just focus on like portraits or landscapes and all that stuff. They actually like made different things. And then that's my works cited page.